Hi everybody, how's it going? Alright, so it is 11:10 right now. Generally when I'm working during the day I can do shorts, but I can't do full videos. So I wanted to jump in here right when the jury was sent off to deliberate. It was the last day of trial today. But anyway, so I wasn't able to do that for the deliberation, so I'm here now. Baby's asleep, I can just kind of chill out, and I'm exhausted because I didn't really get much sleep, but last day of trial. It was an emotional one. We've been watching this for 24 days. Days. It's been going on for 6 weeks, so it's been on our minds for a very long time, and it was emotional. So we had Camille went first, then Ben Chu, and then Rottenborn, and then Bredehoft. And then, so that was the closing, and then the rebuttal case. And that each team had 2 hours. 2 hours allocated as you will. I'm not going to get into legal jargon, obviously, because I don't talk legal jargon, but it was an interesting take on how, watching them, I thought they were actually, I'm trying not to be biased when I say this. Johnny's team has worked like a well-oiled machine. And it's interesting, on that point, it's interesting that it looked like the entirety of their team, because some team, some members I've noticed over the trial, depending on the witnesses that are coming up, certain lawyers come in because they're the ones that need to, ask the questions and things like that. So, but it seemed that his entire legal team, I think they were 2 or 3 rows behind, sitting those pews. I think they were filling them up, and then the entire gallery it seemed like it was more full than any other day. At least every single seat was full. Maybe it was at capacity, I don't know, but anyway, and then they work as a well-oiled machine, and the Camille came in with the evidence, and it was very impactful and very linear, and she timed everything that she was saying with the visual or in the audio, and she did put in the audio, "Tell the world, Johnny, tell them I, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim of domestic abuse or domestic violence." And so I thought that was pretty impactful. And then so she goes in, says her stuff, rocks it like she always does. And then Ben Chu comes up. It's funny because they're switching the mic, but Ben Chu comes up and talks the law. I was getting choked up at the end of Ben Chu's testimony because he was getting choked up. And it was interesting to see. I'm getting choked up now. It was, I shouldn't say interesting, it was good to see. And it was heartwarming to see that you could feel the love and respect that Ben Chu had for his client, and the hard work it was to bring everybody together to get to that point, and the long road that they all fought together. And you could tell that they have a connection. You could see it throughout the entire trial. They have a kinship. They have professionalism. They have a relationship. It's it's bros, and it's just. He was getting choked up, but he got his composure. He was able to finish, and then they sat down. When Camille sat down, Ben Chu and her shook hands, and her and Johnny hugged, and it was really sweet. It's a thank you. It was just very heartwarming. But then when Ben Chu sat down, you could see Johnny smiling. He comes around the bench, or comes around the desk, and Johnny shakes his hand, and they hug, and it was just an understanding. It wasn't a long hug. It was just a quick hug, but there was a mutual respect and understanding that was really, really cool to see. It was just kind of it's coming to the end. It's coming to the end. It's coming to the end. And you could see there was paneling over to Amber during some of their testimonies, or during some of their arguments, closing arguments, about how she was writing things on Post-its and passing it back, and writing things on Post-it, passing it back. And also Ben Chu got objected on a couple of times, and they were really quick sidebars, because I don't know what it is, but I would assume that because, Rottenborn objected to him, and I guess that's bad form. I understand it's bad form to object during a closing arguments, unless it's duly necessary. like he got ejected in a couple of times, and then but it was like quick sidebars, like he was back to what he was doing. So like he didn't lose rhythm or anything like that. But anyway, so they did their closing arguments, which was beautiful. It was so quiet. Everyone was listening, and you could see Johnny's just exhausted. He's excited that this is his last day. It was also his daughter's birthday, which I thought was really, like, it's kind of a nice timing. And they brought in a lot of the fact that this was the 6-year anniversary to the day, to the week of the TRO, when it all started. And it's just interesting how they kept bringing that date back. But they were also, like, again, they were tying in all the events with the evidence. It was like everything was just kind of matching, just playing, it was just playing the story, or reiterating the story that they were putting together, like the narrative that they were putting together, and the fact that it was, like, feels like there's nothing to deny, like everything that they're saying is true. And then Benju gives, like, a request for, like, kind of making it easy for the jury, like, kind of like a little checklist of what to, if you find this, check this. If you find this, check this. Like, find in favor of Johnny. Whatever it was. It was just, it was very professional, very warm, and, like, to the point. Like, they got exactly what they needed to get done. And then Rottenborn comes in, and he was really strong. Like, he had a strong argument. He was actually decently pleasant to listen to. Like, he raised some good points. Like, he had a really good argument, but I don't really remember much near the end. Like, he was talking forever. Like, remember, they only have 2 hours. 2 hours. He was talking forever. I was kind of like, okay, are we done? We got it. So it was kind of like just tapering off. I'm like, okay. So he gets off, and then he switches the mic over to Elaine. And then here we go. Rottenborn goes into, what's it called? Legal. Bredehoft goes into evidence, or some sort of weird narrative. I don't know what was going on. But it was, and I said this in a short, I uploaded a short earlier today, because I was kind of like, what the frick is happening? She went off. Like, she just I don't know where she was going. She was running in all different directions. Nothing was linear. Nothing was lining up. It was like basically spouting alleged facts, or spouting facts presented in evidence, or like just things that were just thrown around. Like, not thrown out, but, like, I'm sure, like, there was some. There wasn't any, like, for my ears, there wasn't any cohesiveness to what was being said. There's a lot of information being thrown at the jury, a lot of reiteration of what was said. But it was going on forever. And then apparently there was a misrepresentation of what malice was, legally speaking, or in this context speaking. And Benju and Camille were like, nah. So there were quite a few objections with Elaine, and found her kind of like retreating backwards a little bit, and then kind of restarting again. But it went on forever. And then they were done. And then we broke for the lunch. But I didn't see any connection. I didn't see any talking with Amber. Like, I saw her kind of smirking and smiling and doing whatever, which is kind of like a same demeanor that she had with, like, when she was on the stand yesterday. I mean, like, she was crying, like, getting really, really upset. Like, her demeanor was completely, like almost like disheveled, and then she gets crossed by Camille, and then she, like, kind of kept her composure and was just like she just kind of just totally switched, and then she went back to, like, the simpering way when Rottenborn came back again. It was kind of like weird like that today when she was sitting at council table. Just when, like, he was just panning at her. She either seemed bored, or she'd be frustrated, or she was listening intently, or she was smirking and then passing notes back to the council table to Rottenborn. Excuse me. You know what? I believe that her lawyers, and I could see it. I don't have to be a lawyer or anyone in law to see this. Like, her lawyers generally deal with the information that they're given, and they present it the best they can to the full extent of the law, like within legal grounds, right? That's what I get. Like, it's definitely an oversimplification of what happens, but that's what I'm gathering. You have to represent your client the best way you know how, on the best legal platform or legal grounds with the information you're given. Yeah, I don't think they had all the information. I don't think they really had any correct information. And I think they drew the short end of the straw, or short end of the stick, or the short straw, whatever, when it came to the evidence that they were supposed to be presenting, because it doesn't correlate with what was going on. But anyway, I also noticed that Rottenborn was, he didn't mention sexual violence yesterday. He didn't mention sexual violence yesterday, and he also didn't really... He mentioned sexual violence, but he was more focused on emotional violence and psychological violence, emotional abuse and psychological abuse, or EA or PSA. I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube, but anyway, that stuff. So he was more focused on that. So I don't know if that was like a tactic, like so that they can, like the jury can prove, okay, well, or to come to the conclusion that there was abuse. It wasn't just the bad stuff, or the physical stuff. It was more of the internal stuff. So I don't know if they were trying to draw some sort of narrative that way, but whatever, like, you know, do what we need to do. I mean, like, you need to win, like you want to win this case. I totally understand that. Like, use the tactic that you need to use. So at the end of first part of closing arguments, that we had lunch, we were reminded what the time was. Camille was going to come after lunch with her rebuttal with 39 minutes. Defense, Rottenborn, was going to come back to rebut his own counterclaim with 6 minutes. That seems ludicrous, and like, the frick you're supposed to do in that time? Well, to me, the outsider, going, what the fuck? Like, 6 minutes means nothing. Like, sometimes it takes out like longer than that for like my browser to load. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. But Camille again delivered. She delivered. She did great, and she apparently had 5 minutes left. Like, she could have kept going, but she was very confident and knew exactly what she wanted to say, and she said it, and it was just like, okay, she made her point, and I think it was lovely. And then Rottenborn came in, and he actually did a pretty good job for 6 minutes. He hit some important points and good discussion. He also, like, in his first closing, he used a PowerPoint presentation, which is cool. Brought up some text messages again, brought up some images. But I think he brought in some images. But all in all, like, the closings were good, except for the Elaine part of it. I think that Rottenborn should have done probably all of it. But hey, you know what? It's okay. It's totally fine. It was just it's a long day. It's a long stretch. I'm sure that every party needs to go home. They want to go home. So the jury were given the instructions, and 2 jurors were taken away, and I think it's juror number 2 and juror number 8, I think, or H and I can't remember, but one from the top row, one from the second row, back row, front row. And that would suck if I were a juror and sat through 6 weeks of this and weren't allowed to go deliberate. But then again, they have to stay close in case something happens with another one. So who knows? Maybe they get a chance. But and I was hoping that they would come back with a verdict today. It doesn't look like she's gonna get her counterclaim. I really don't think so. I think they might go for what I heard the term was, go for a 0. So what I understand that to mean is that it's either like she wants to go with no one wins. So because if she's not going to win on the counterclaim, he'll either win or they'll both lose. And I'm sure she's going to hope for they both lose, because then that way he doesn't win. But anyway, so I don't know. I'm Team Johnny. I hope he wins. And she in closing, Camille was saying, it's not about the money. He doesn't want the money. It's not that he doesn't want the money. He's just not about the money. He wants his life back. He wants his name back. He wants his reputation back. That's all he wants. He's not there. None of this was to hurt Miss Heard or anything like that. So they really hamped on that, but it was just really lovely. And then it was just like the jury went away, and then the judge gave everyone just kind of a notice of like basically verdict watch. And then Johnny left. Obviously, he had his fanfare, but it was really the best part of the finish. Since they finished before I saw anything else, was Johnny's team all coming together to do a huddle. Not every single one of them, but the majority of them were all like hugging or like saying congratulations, Johnny, or like pleasure to work with you, shaking hands type of scenario. And then some of them walked out, and the others did a nice like fucking huddle cuddle, and it was really nice to see, like, they all came together and they're like, we got this, or you know what, we did good together, we did good, and it was really nice to see. It was a really nice kind of like enter, and yeah, you know what, I hope he gets what he needs, and you know what, it's Lily Rose's birthday today, so I hope he's celebrating with her. He flew back to LA. I'm hoping he did, to fly back with her. They don't have to be there for their verdict, so we'll see. We will see, but I'm gonna leave it at that and come back. I've got a couple more things, a few more videos that I want to put up, but and a few things that I want to put up for my TikTok. But what a day, and what a month and a half. It's been crazy, but you guys have a great night.